Welcome to the Fueled by Joy Working Dog Podcast.
I've only been in my life probably about at the most about 6 years of my life without Beagles, and that was in my early career.
Where we bring you the best in working dog coverage.
That first dog I had probably taught me more about pointing dogs than I learned anywhere else.
Yeah. From some of the best dog men and women on this planet.
You demanded that accuracy.
Brought to you, as always, by Joy Dog Food.
And that is a testament to the nutrition. That honestly, and that's where I've been ever since. I said, well, as long as they keep it like it is, I'll be right here.
Now it's time to get fueled by joy.
Wade Graskowitz here, owner of Joy Dog Food. I want to discuss two of our products, 3020 and 2420. Great products to switch to during hunting season. These two products, guys, have been specifically designed for dogs that are being hunted. They're being exercised daily, 4, 5, 6 times a week. That's what it's designed for. A lot of my competitors, and I'm going to say most of my competitors, 95% of my competitors, they're just making dog food. Joy Dog Food, these two products, 538 kcals on the high energy, 535 on the 3020. They're designed for you beagle guys, you coon dog guys, retrievers, squirrel dogs, coon hounds. That's what it's designed for. High stress hunting dogs. If you haven't made the switch, please give Joy Dog Food a try. You will be a believer. If you try it one time, you will be so satisfied. If you got any questions, please give me, Wade Graskowitz, the owner, a call here at the office, 1-800-245-4125. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fueled by Joy Working Dog Podcast. I am joined by Cody Moreland. We've been talking off air. We need to start this thing on our initial conversation. We always have a pretty good conversation before we ever hit record.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was like, well, is he recording or not?
Yeah. No, I usually I should be, but we were talking sports. We were talking kids and life, and you can see me over here drinking this Red Bull. I went to a hunt last night over in Kansas, 2.5 hours away. And by the time I got home, I decided to take a couple pups out. That was dumb.
Mm.
And then I got in about 4 o'clock this morning, and then my son woke me up at 7 and said he'd shot a deer, and he wanted me to come out there and help him look for it. And now here we are.
The choices that we make.
I know it. That's what we were talking about. And you've been busy too. I know you guys are getting ready to start football. I'm assuming you're getting dogs ready for squirrel season and all that good stuff.
It's been wide open. We play 10U travel softball. My boy he's 6, but he's playing up 8U travel baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working dogs and messing with puppies. And
what puppies you got?
Ooh, I got me and Michael Harlow crossed my dog, which is world champion mountain cur, with his dog, which is a walker dog. And I threw out a little bit of, let's see how I should say this. I threw out winningest dog ever in the NSD, get a few eyeballs, a little marketing.
Yeah.
But, if you look at the amount of hunts she's been in and her wins, her percentage is actually it. I mean, she's a heck of a dog. She's one of them winners that will get hooked if they're not on the ground and tree them if they're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a female I kept. He kept 2 females. And we're trying to actually get rid of a couple of males. I think we got something worked out to where somebody's going to start them for us.
Yeah.
Buy them back.
That's
it's
the
such
thing about getting them pups in good hands. That's the main thing, especially if you're the guy with the male.
Yes.
You're wanting to maybe raise another litter, sell some pups later, maybe sell a couple of breedings or something. It's important to get them pups in good hands.
It really is. And a lot of people probably think that we're trying to sell the two that we didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually didn't sell any. We just
Yeah.
kept them and just trying to figure out which ones exactly we wanted to keep. Wasn't in no hurry. He's not really in a buying for money, and I'm not in a buying for money. So we're
Yeah.
just trying to figure out which ones we want to keep. And we ended up deciding we was going to keep those three males and three females. And we kept the three females because it is such a weird deal of if you got the female and she's really nice, you can go wherever you want to.
Yeah.
If you got a male, you about have to beg people for a chance.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand to an extent of you want to go if you got one breeding a year you're going to do, you want to go to somebody that's reproduced.
Yep.
But on the other hand, man, there's a lot of really nice dogs out there that never get a shot because they're like, well, I only going to breed once this year and I really want to go to something I know that works.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I get that, but maybe the dog, there's a male dog out there that's beachy every time you drew it, but you won't give him a shot just because you want him to, see, that something else has thrown good pups.
I think as a guy that likes to raise pups, and I've been lucky the last two litters because it's been my male and my female, or a male I'm super familiar with and my female, and then I get to raise the litter. Which I don't like. I like to get mine picked out at 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and get
Hmm.
the rest of them gone so I can focus on that one pup pretty quick. But when you've got both, you're better off as far as raising pups. But if you're going to have a line of dogs, and they always say, oh, the stud always gets the credit, stud always gets the credit. And they do for one reason. I can take that stud, I can cross 20 different females to it in that lifetime. I can
Hmm.
see which ones work. I can pick the best male pup out of all those pups, or buy the best male back or something like that and continue that line. It's a lot easier to continue a line of dogs on the male side than it is the female side, in my opinion.
It is, and it's one of them weird things. So I want to get your opinion. What is your opinion if you've got a nice female?
Hmm.
Do you do the fill the holes, or do you look at bloodlines and look back at what's before them? What is or do you just go off of what you like out of that dog?
I look at 3 generations. That's about all. I look at 3 generations back. And with me, it's about stacking a pedigree. If I have a dog, say I have a female dog, I'm not breeding her unless I knew her parents were good and her grandparents were good.
Hmm.
Because there I've got 3 generations of dogs that I know can tree coons and win hunts and stuff like that. And then I'm not breeding to another male unless I know him really well and there's 3 generations or 2 generations behind him of good coon treaters. Or when you got a good female, if you're getting beat by a dog's pups all the time, say you're going over a hunt and you're getting beat by a rodeo pup or a willy pup or something like that all the time, then yeah, I would go, even though I'm not as familiar with those dogs, and I wouldn't be above breeding one of those either. But like my last cross was to Money Shot, who is out of Big Money and Emmy. And I know what Big Money's parents were. Emmy's parents, I'm not as familiar with, but I'm super familiar with Money Shot. I've been hunting with that dog since he was 15, 16 months old. I always wanted to litter pups out of him. I just wanted to find the right female to breed to him. And I didn't want to buy a pup off of him because I don't know what they bred to him. Yeah, it may be a gold champion female, but her parents might be junk and she may be just lucky, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, yeah, I'm pretty picky when I'm making a cross, but I like to stack a pedigree full because I don't think you can fill holes. I think
you don't
every,
think
I
that works?
no, I think every pup is an ancestor, is a basic clone of one of its ancestors. That's my theory. Because I'll
Okay.
still get pups, 2 generations away that remind me exactly, step by step, minute by minute, look, sound, mouth, hunting ability, everything of a particular dog.
Yeah,
I look at something out of Bella that acts just like Trader, or something out of Raven that acts just like a half brother that I raised years ago, or something like that. I think it's more like that than it is filling holes. You're not going to get balance by taking a dog that trees too much and breeding it to a dog that trails too much. You're going to get half a litter of pups that trail too much and half a litter of pups that tree too much.
I get that. I was talking to Mark Morrison, and he was used to be really big into squirrel dogs back some years ago, but he talked about he had a dog called Apache,
Mm-hmm.
and he would stomp. He'd sit at the bottom and he'd bounce off his front
Yep.
legs and stomp. Well, he told me that he never noticed any of the direct siblings of him stomp, but he said he could watch videos and not know what they was out of, and watch grandpups, and they would be stomping. He'd be like,
Yep.
"Hey, is that out of Apache? Is that go back to Apache?" And they say, "Yeah."
Yep.
So,
Right. I think that's how it works. I think they just yeah, there's some traits from both sides or stuff, but you're basically I mean, you figure I was talking to a guy that's got a pup that I raised off a con and it was a clone of his dad. I
hmm
raised them both from babies. They had the same kennel manners. They
well,
had the same little chirp that they would do in the kennel that would just drive you absolutely crazy. It wasn't a real bark, it was a fake half bark. They were basically, if you'd have made them look exactly like you, never could have told the difference in the woods.
wow,
Ever told the difference. Or the house, or the kennel, or nothing. And they did look a lot alike. But then I've bred male dogs, that never threw themselves.
yeah,
But there was something back there that they would throw they would throw the same type of dog all the time, but it wasn't
hmm
them. And so I figure best thing we can do is just stack a pedigree full of good dogs. Even if one of them may not be your style or taste, if it's good at treeing squirrels, if it's good at being alone, if it's got talent and it's got all that stuff, and you put a whole pedigree full of those, then yeah, I think you're
yeah.
good.
You know, I've talked to a lot of people. I'm the kind of person I'll ask five people the same question.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, if you talk to five good dog men, at least three of them, if not four, does it the same way. And
Yep.
then, so generally, I'm getting two different answers.
Yep.
And I'll go with the one that is the majority. And if that don't work, then I have a backup plan.
Yep.
But I've asked people, and a lot of people, some people take it offensive when I'm like, well, why did you breed to that dog? I'm wanting to know because curiosity, I want to know what their thinking was
Yep.
because I might one day say, you know what, that cross worked. He told
Yep.
me what he was thinking, what traits he had, what traits he was needing, you know, and I think that's a good way to do it. A lot of times, you know, why do people breed a hard going dog to a not hard going dog?
Mm-hmm.
Does that, I keep up with a litter? Does that create a medium going dog or
Yeah.
is it hard going dogs? I just like to watch and see and store that in the back of my mind. And and there's so many opinions on
Oh yeah.
which puppy to pick. Like, do you pick a wide open puppy or do you pick a tone puppy?
I pick the best looking one.
If you're gonna
That's
feed it,
it.
might as well look good.
I take the best looking male.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always done. Now this litter here, I did not have the opportunity to do that because when I bred the shot, Lane said I want the pick male.
hmm
And he goes, that's what I'll do for the breeding. And I said, okay. And man, and usually there's two that are real close, but man, his was freaking gorgeous.
Wow.
Which mine is a good looking pup too, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. And he's turning out just fine. He treated his first coon the other night at 6.5 months old. I've got no complaints, but man, that one of Lane's was pretty. Woo,
Really.
yes, pretty. But normally I just take, when I raise a litter, I have a system to keep them from being backwards,
hmm
from being standoffish. If I'm going to a guy's house to pick up a pup out of a litter I didn't raise, I pick the boldest one.
Yeah.
If the best looking pup's over there hiding in the corner, I ain't touching it.
Yeah.
But if all things equal, everything acts the same, I'm picking pretty early because I take my pick of my litter 4 or 5 weeks old, and then I single that pup out. I do more with it during the day, even though they all get messed with.
hmm
I'm doing special things with that pup from the get go, and so they're usually all things are equal in a litter here, and so I just pick the best looking one. But everybody
Yeah.
has, you're right, everybody has the craziest tactics. You're
You know,
better off closing your eyes and reaching in there and just plucking one out. I think
I've
that's these tactics.
I've heard everything from a dot on their head to color of the roof of the mouth to how
Yep.
big their feet is and how fast their heartbeat is. It just depends on, to each their own. And the wild thing is, them people believe that. Like that's
Yeah.
what they go by.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I don't know if it's luck or what, but it works out for them. But
I
I tell you,
found. the people that stare at a puppy that hard are usually going to spend enough time with it to make it pretty good.
That's where I was going with it. You know
Yeah.
what? People want to choose that bad. They're gonna spend enough time with that animal in the woods.
Hmm.
And that goes back to, and this could be as much for the people out there that's looking to buy dogs. Uh, the people that are breeding the dogs want to get the dogs in the best hands.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of time and energy to make the cross. So people aren't giving puppies away anymore, hardly,
Yeah.
because if
But
you spend
if you're
money,
really good, if you're really good with a
yeah,
puppy, you won't have to pay for no puppy.
yeah. I'm saying just the random Joe,
Oh yeah, no. No,
like
these
they're
things are
like,
too
well,
expensive to raise.
why are these puppies so high? Well, in all reality, if you give 500 to $800 for a puppy, you're probably going to give it a shot. It's not going
Yeah.
to sit in a kennel and then, uh, let me say a nice way. It's not going to be passed on after it's been in the kennel because it was gave to you for 200 bucks, and then you
Yeah.
decide that you just got other hobbies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know,
those same guys also have a French bulldog that they just gave 3 grand for that can't even lick its own nuts.
okay. Oh, that topic that blows my mind.
Jeez, don't it though?
It blows my mind that we have people that are like, man, that puppy's too expensive or that's too much money. Okay.
Hmm.
These people have looked at these dogs every day, made sure that they've kept these dogs alive for a couple of months, fed them shots, made sure that they've taken care of healthy. And you're going to invest multiple days a week into an animal.
Hmm.
This is going to be more or less your best friend if it makes it. And you're not people in the squirrel dog world. I would say the average price for puppies in the competition side is 5 to 750.
Yeah.
Some are getting 1,000 and a touch over, but 500 to $1,000 is too much for a puppy. But yet you'll go buy a wiener doodle and give $2,000 for it that you have to go and board if you go on
Mhm.
vacation because the
And you got
dog can't survive outside.
and you got to groom it. You got to take it to a
Ah,
groomer once a month.
like that is insane to
It
me.
is blows my apps. And don't get me wrong, this is the Joy podcast. We want to feed all them dogs. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So more power to them. I don't care what people do, but to make it make sense, I just can't because
Hmm.
I don't do pets. All my dogs are as well taken care of as any dog in the world. Yeah, I pat them on the head and tell them good boy or good girl or whatever. But man, I don't do just dogs without a job.
Yeah,
All my dogs are tools, and I said when I say that dog is a tool, people get all up in arms. But you know what? I take really good care of my tools. If I buy a brand new weed eater, I'm over there making sure that thing's working all the time, or I'm changing the oil in that truck, or I'm putting everything back where it goes, and I'm doing all the things it needs to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can't see a pet. Like you can go down to the pound and get a pet for
yeah.
free. I mean, there's
No,
places they'll pay you to take them.
no, 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 no. No, back up. You around here, it costs $200 to get a dog from the pen.
Huh. And then they
You
wonder why
gotta pay
nobody
for
goes
their
to get a dog from
neutering and their worming and all their shots. It costs a
them.
couple $100 to adopt a dog here.
Well, I'm just saying you can drive around any small town in North Missouri, you can find you a
Mhm.
pet. You know,
Yeah.
you just need a couple pieces of hot dog and a place to hide it when you think, oh, they ain't got no collar, it's running around town. They don't care about it too much. Just take it home. It
Yeah.
could be on your couch. You can make Instagram pictures with it. Whatever. Cheaper than the
Yeah.
pound. But
Another
yeah,
thing that
but
like a pet is a tool too.
yeah,
Like if you bought a pet, so people get offensive about that word, but it is a family companion. That
yeah,
is its job is to be a family companion.
yeah, I guess you
If
could
it
look at
stood
it.
if it stood in the corner and didn't have nothing to do with you and beat you every time you got close to it,
Hmm.
is it a pet?
I don't know. I'd like that better than I would a dog wallering on me, probably.
Yeah, I don't like them licking. I
No,
can't
I
stand
don't
that.
want. I don't want none of that. Hazel gets to come in the house. She's retired. Of course, she ain't on the couch today. She's outside. But she comes through the door, jumps on that couch right there, and never leaves it until I call her off of it. No whining, no coming up there and wanting pet or nothing. She just likes being on the couch. That's my kind of pet right there.
Living a good life.
That's right. That's right. She deserves it. She's had a good career. But man, these guys, I don't know. You'll see them buying $3,500 dogs that them bowed up bulldogs or something that are bred so weird that they're malformed and can't even run
Yeah.
around. You got to lift them on the up the steps, and then they get mad over $500 for a dog that could go in a truck.
Yeah. Well, I figured out the reason why. I think, in my opinion, you can give 2,000 for a house dog because your wife wants the house dog.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably right.
If you tell your dog you'll give $600
Yeah.
for a hunting dog, she's thinking, well, he should not be at home very often. Well, some of them probably are into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. We don't need you here. But
Another thing about a pet is it don't have to do a whole lot to live up to its job. It's
hmm
just got to knock crap in the house.
yeah,
That's pretty much it. You give five, 800,000, $1,500 for a working dog, and it's not a talented enough working dog to suit your needs, then you got to get rid of it. You got
yeah,
to sell it to someone that it suits or give it to a pet household but you can also take that same dog. They're smart, especially cur dogs. Cur dogs make
hmm
fantastic house dogs.
hmm
Bring them
yeah.
in, pet them up, and all of a sudden you got a pet and you've saved all kinds of money.
Mine lives in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'll say this. I do think that that does have some disadvantages because he lives in the house at night,
Mm-hmm.
but when I leave for work, I put him in a kennel.
Yep.
Well, a dog that lives outside all the time is used to that kind of cold weather in the wintertime or
Mm-hmm.
hot weather in the summer. Well, if he goes from a 68 degrees house to 15 degrees outside, his coat is
Yeah.
not
No.
acclimated to it.
All right.
And he don't really like living on the road. He likes to lay on that bed. I've got him a dog bed in the
Mm-hmm.
corner. He loves that. You put him in a dog box and have to sleep outside on the road. He's not real.
Yeah.
No, what is this?
Yeah. Went from Prince to Popper over here. I don't know what you got me going on.
What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
You know.
And no, that's the thing. I know a lot of guys, you think at Venus, who always rode in the back of the truck to hunts and they were in the cab. Dual Murphy takes his dogs, crashes when it's hot. He's living in the back seat of the truck. He ain't in the
hmm
dog box and stuff. They had a lot of success, but you could tell them dogs when they did have to get in a dog box were just like, bro,
Yeah. Are you serious?
what the F you doing over here? You're letting that dude ride in my seat and I got to ride back here in this hot or cold box.
That's it.
Yeah. They ain't stupid. They know.
I don't I tried that with mine and he does good but he thinks that he's going hunting from the time I put him in
Yeah.
the dog box. For if I got to haul him for a long ways, he's gonna sitting there just amped up the whole way.
Yeah.
But when I put him in the back seat, it's window to window, and I get tired of the nose prints all over the window,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, no, we're not doing
Yeah. I don't like dog hair in my truck.
that.
I ain't having them in there. Now, I did. There'll be times where it's super hot. I've got a little guard. Conkeys makes a little guard for your back seat and stuff. So
hmm
I'll put that on and I'll let a dog in the back seat. I did have to handle shot at nationals, and both my dogs. I had two of my dogs down there pleasure hunting, and I had crates, ruffling crates, and
hmm
my camper and everything was there. Well, they were in the crate at the camper. I didn't have what way to haul shot. And so I asked Lane, I said, will he ride in the back seat of the truck? He goes, dude, he's won a truck. I let him ride in the truck.
Yeah, it's
I
his
said,
truck.
all right, fair enough. So I let him ride in the
Yeah,
back seat. He just got in there like he owned the place. Just sat down, laid down, curled up, went to sleep. He's like, you ready to go? Or what are we doing here?
yeah,
So yeah, there's some of them take to it good. And there are times when it is nice because I worry to death about my dogs being hot in the summer.
yeah,
And they're having them in that air conditioning is nice, but there is some downfalls to it to babying a working dog. Some of them can flip that switch.
yeah,
Man, some of them, as soon as you get them out and you put that tracking collar on them and you're getting around snapping them, it don't matter where they've been or what they've been doing. But some of them, Colin, for instance, when I had him, he would be running around the yard and living the good life and stuff. You go load him up to go hunting when it was hot. He's like, nah, I'm good. I think I'm just
yeah,
gonna hang out here. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't need to be out there. So yeah, I don't like letting them in and babying them too much until their career's over and they're already retired.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I did hunt Hazel the other night and turned her loose. She made one tree, recut her off that. She went in there about 500 yards and it was cold. And she just turned around and come back. She's turned around, come back, jumped in the truck, said, "Hey, I'm good. Let's go back. Let's go back to that couch."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's one thing I will say. I got lucky with mine because when you get to the woods, he don't want you to touch him.
Yeah.
He wants to go. You turn him loose and let him go do his thing. He is not a come love on me in the woods kind of animal. And
No, that makes a difference. I like that.
yeah, but while we was talking about it, and I don't want to go back to it, but I do. What is your opinion on breeding dogs? Why would somebody drive? Why are people driving across the country to breed to a dog when you got a dog that can win anywhere in your backyard?
I don't know. It's been like that since the dawn of stud dogs, it seems like. But some of it's to sell pups. That's a
Yeah.
lot of reason in the coonhound business, it's to sell pups. Like I've got, and I guess I'm guilty of that too, because I got Wipeout Hunter, one of the greatest reproducers ever, an hour from my house. Good
Hmm.
friend owns him. And then I've got, I drove 4.5 hours to go breed to shop.
Yeah.
But that was just a deal where I didn't think that particular cross would work. I thought it was too much Wipeout.
Hmm.
And so I didn't do it. But I think a lot of reason is, a guy gets a good female, he can go breed it to a Catmandude or a rodeo or a Willie or something like that. And all of a sudden those $500 pups are $1,500 pups.
Yeah.
And you
You
have
know that.
five of them, that $5,000 is worth the extra trip, to
Yeah.
go do that. And I think a lot of, back in the day, it used to be jealousy,
Yeah.
a lot of jealousy. But I think today more, and I know this is more prevalent in the Walker breed. Walker guys will breed to their worst enemy's dog. They don't care. Man, it
They
could
won't
be,
breed the winners.
they just want winners and they want quality pups. And that's what made them so much better than everything else. But
Hmm.
you got guys from other breeds, especially on the coonhound side, where they're like, well, I only breed within my line, and if I make an outcross, it's got to be with a guy that I like or something. All the while he's getting his break speed off by this other stud dog's pups, but he don't like the guy. Yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of, I saw Barry. What's Barry Kitty hunting a rodeo dog this weekend?
yeah, he was hunting rodeo
Cinch.
cinch. Yeah, Mason
Yeah.
Bush's dog.
Oh.
So I don't know what Kitty. I seen Kitty had some pups for sale today too. Had three.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what Kitty's got up his sleeve over there, but yeah, he owns. I think he still owns part of Cinch. Kitty does. I
Wow.
may be
Okay.
wrong. He may not, but I know when Brad bought into him, I'll have to look and see if that was a deal. But yeah, he was hunting a rodeo dog.
Did who
I
won
know
that?
Cinch is out of a like a high expectations female or something, a Naylor bred female,
Hmm.
skipper bred female. So I don't think there's much wipeout in that dog.
Well, he's been winning everywhere.
Yeah. Now I got to hunt. Well, I hunted with Cinch last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Whenever we was down at the Mark Hall, and he looked good the night I hunted with him. He got in one night, got in the final four one night. The next night he lost, but he treated a couple of coons and looked pretty good.
Who won
Okay.
that hunt this weekend?
Um, I'll tell you here in a second. I seen it today. I was getting ready to do my competition corner news desk and noted that down. It was, oh yeah, Tony Smith,
Tony
English
Smith.
dog.
Wow.
I
Okay.
believe Reel's in it. It might be a crossbred dog. Let me
Huh.
look. But Tony Smith, Wicked Vapor fame, the
Wicked
Wicked High
Vapor
Dollar
thing.
Thrill. I think that's an English dog.
Hmm.
I'm about sure. Looks like there are two English dog in the finals.
Dang. English is on the come up.
Yeah, and they have been in behind. I think to me they've been in second place this whole time. Had an English world champion in the 2000s. You won the PKC World Championship. You've had some great English dogs, Cold Hard B, several others. That Ringo dog that Rick Solfin used to hunt. Had some running some good English dogs, real good English dogs.
Do they generally move around like a walker?
They ones that are winning at that level do.
Hmm.
Hell, I think one just got in Super Stakes too. In the spring, got second in Super Stakes or something like that, or top five. Cable ended up buying him and selling him. But yeah, there's some good English dogs out there, and
Well,
there's good dogs in every breed. But it's we had I seen a guy on Facebook just the other day who was talking about how walkers only win because there's more of them. I thought, gee whiz, is that still a debate?
yeah,
Are we
yeah,
still arguing that? Because that's so
I get it.
nonsense. So yeah, I don't know. They don't make a lot of sense. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I raised walkers and have for years, but I love blue ticks.
Yeah.
I freaking love them. I would love to have a good blue tick again. I've only had one in my life. He was a for sure good one.
Well, what was that blue tick from Louisiana not too long ago, or a couple years ago? They was really talking about.
Um, let's
Was
see. The Piper female won Super
it?
Stakes there last year.
It was a male dog, and it was the one. Not for some reason, I'm
Oh,
thinking.
you're thinking of I call them all old blue. You're thinking of Jesse's dog. What is that dog's name?
Yes, he said on a podcast he wasn't even a blue tick. He just come out that color.
No, they don't know. They sent his DNA in, but they don't know who the dad is. He's definitely full blood blue tick,
Oh, okay.
but they don't. I think he's a registered crossbred, maybe because they're not sure exactly who the father is through the DNA. His mama was a blue tick. His daddy was from a good neighborhood, I'm sure.
well, I was for some reason I've got a wine name coming.
Blueberry
So
wine.
there
Blueberry
we go.
wine. Gosh dang, I can't believe I couldn't think of that dog. I can tell I haven't slept much. But yeah, no, that dog, finals and nationals, over $100,000 won.
Is he still hunting?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I bet he'll be hunting blueberry wine. I was sure down in Crowville here in 2 weeks at the truck hunt.
Well,
PKC has a truck hunt down there, Jesse's place.
hmm,
And
yeah.
so he's the main showrunner over there. He's always puts us in a bunch of coons too. He puts on a good hunt, Lively does. But no, I've seen that dog look really good. I was there when he got in the finals of nationals. I judged him in the semifinals. He beat Apollo. The dog looked really good. Apollo looked really good that night too. I think it was
Yeah.
Logan Ray, Dustin Weed, Jesse Lively, and I can't remember who was handling Apollo that night. But they were had a heck of a cast, and the dog looked really good.
Well, yeah,
No,
I'd heard, I guess it was you talking about him. I heard he looked really good.
yeah, no, he's a good dog, and there's another blue dog down there in Oklahoma that Eddie Green has that Zach Boring will handle some. Lonesome Zeke is his name.
Hmm.
I was there the night he made platinum champion. That is a coon machine, and he is getting ready. He is one cast win away this weekend from being the all-time money-winning blue tick in PKC.
Wow.
Yeah, which
Dang.
is not an average cast. The entry fee is $10,000.
Ooh.
And so one
Ooh.
cast win pays pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say. You know,
It's
and here's the deal. Most of the people that are doing a lot of competition hunting probably aren't out looking for blue ticks
they
and
don't care what they are.
but I'm saying they're probably
Yeah.
not raising
No,
them
but
and
they're not.
buying
If
them
they
and
run into a blue tick that they think can win with, they'll dang sure buy it.
yeah.
But the odds of running into one of those before you run into a walker that can win are pretty slim.
Yeah.
And Kevin Rash collects them things like post-its, like postcards. He buys every good blue tick, and he's got some good ones down there, and Crowder and Champ and a bunch of well, the Piper female was Kevin Rash's dog. He buys about every good blue tick that is for sale.
Hmm.
He
Yeah, there's
likes
some
blue
people
ticks.
that are breed specific.
Yep. What about the
So
squirrel dogs? Because that's such a funny, clicky group about, man, it has to be a purebred cur, or I don't care what it is, or it can't have white feet, or I can't ever
yeah.
keep track of it all, which I assume from the outside looking in is the same as they look at us with coon dogs. But guys got so many organizations, and some of them are just cur dog organizations too.
Yes. Well, I personally like the cur dogs
Yeah.
because it gives me a lot of versatility on hunts. In
Yep.
my area, I have the UMCA.
Mm-hmm.
I can also hunt the OMCBA, which are cur only events.
Yep.
I can hunt the NSD. I can hunt the USDC. I can hunt the NKC, the UKC. I
Yeah.
can hunt the WTD. I can hunt everything but a Feist organization
Right.
with a cur. Whereas if you take and just say you've got a hound, you've got WTDA, NSD, USDC.
Yep.
Okay, that's 3 world hunts. That's three organizations. I mean, I can hunt like 8 or 9 if I want to.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of if there's an NSD hunt or a USDC hunt 8 hours away, and there's a UMCA hunt an hour and a half away. I mean, for the most part, most people go into hunts nowadays. There's going to be some dogs that might need a little more work, but you're going to run into good dogs. It might be the 3rd round,
Yeah.
but you're going to run into good dogs at about every event.
What about if it weren't for the kids and the ball and the busy life that we all keep, would you have a cur dog, a good cur dog, and a good something else, to have 2 dogs, 3 dogs instead of just the one? Or do you like just one dog all the time?
Well, I believe the more dogs you have, one of them's going to not get as much attention.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I also under the assumption of you've got to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So if your dog's my dog's 5 years old. Well, I've got a few more years out of him, but after that, I'm looking for a backup.
Yeah.
And it's like this: if that dog's 10 years old that I have, and I got a really nice 3-year-old, and I go and hunt them against each other, and the 10-year-old dog beats the 3-year-old dog, even though he's really really nice, he beats him 6 out of 10 times. I'm packing the 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I had an old man tell me one time, you know what color dog I like, and I said what, and he said 2 feet on the tree. Hey, I don't care what they are as long as they win.
Yeah.
As long as and I like a consistent dog. I sold a Jip that was really nice last year. Let me let me back up. She is a nice dog. She wasn't consistent enough for me.
Yeah.
3 out of 10 times, world beater. The other 7 times, she just wasn't consistent. She was young. I understand that. But have you ever heard of Randy Gary, the old rabbit hunter from Louisiana? Used to do fur and fangs
Oh yeah,
videos.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Okay.
you're talking about.
I interviewed him on a podcast, and he told me something. He said, you can't have a pen full of great dogs if you got a pen full of good dogs.
Yeah.
So if it don't suit you, I feed it. So, and it's going to be hard to do, but if my bar's up here, I'm not going to settle for here.
Yeah.
But
I get that whenever I sell, because I sell so many young dogs. I'll sell this one. I got a 10-month-old female out there right now that'll be sold in the next 2 or 3 months. And Wade's always on me, and Zane and Noe and all my hunting buddies. You ever going to keep one? You ever going to keep one? You ever going to keep one? I said, no, probably not. I said, it'd have to be a really, really, because so far, the one I'm selling, and these are good dogs.
yeah.
Every one of them I've sold have suited somebody, and they went and they've won. They've done everything they needed to do. But I've always been able to have another one right behind it
Mm-hmm.
that'll win, and I can sell, and everybody's happy with it and everything. But I ain't ever went out there and drew that dog 4 years later and think, man, I wish I wouldn't have sold that dog.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
never
get
have,
that.
because I've got one just as good, maybe not better, but just as good,
Mm-hmm.
when I turn it loose against it. So I don't know. There's guys and Robert Williams, a good friend of mine down there in South Missouri, he'll take one dog and just, you'll hunt with that thing when it's a year and a half, 2 years old, and it's okay. And I'm thinking, gee whiz, I don't know, Robert. Or
Yeah.
it'll be younger than that even. You're like, I don't, and then you draw it when it's 4, it'll beat your brakes off,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's really good. Robert's really good about getting dogs to keep getting better as they get older. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm just not as good a dog man as that. But usually by the time they're about a year and a half old, I'm either bored with them, they're too valuable, and I want the money, or I feel like I can get one that's just as
Yeah.
good or better in the next go round.
Well, if but to answer your question, if I'd have 2 dogs, I think the happy medium in squirrel dogs, because you have to have a dog in squirrel dogs. If the squirrels aren't moving, if you don't make some circle trees, you're not winning the cast. Like my dog, I've lost the Arkansas state hunt last year. There was 27 in the NSD, it was 27 extremely nice dogs there.
Mm-hmm.
First round, treed squirrels, won. Second round, I drew John Saunders witch dog,
Mm-hmm.
extremely nice. I drew Bart Williams with Spike, 4-time world champion.
Yep.
Gonna treat squirrels, I won. Get to the finals, that dog covered about 7 miles. Tried to tree once. I mean, he just wouldn't,
Wasn't no
he what
squirrels to tree.
with no squirrels.
Yeah.
The dog that won it had 300 circle.
Yeah.
I they got to have a winner, and I understand that, but it's kind of a weird situation because if you're not getting on the card, you can't win. So I think a
That's
tree and cur is kind of the best in between.
that's the hard part about finding a real high end squirrel dog is,
Mm-hmm.
and that is when I think of like knockout or one of them dogs like that. Cat, same way. I've seen when the squirrels are down and moving, she'll make 4 or 5 trees with 4 or 5 squirrels. And when they're not down and moving, they'll make 4 or 5 trees anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's and then nothing's treeing squirrels, but they'll still make that tree.
Yep.
And how it still floors me that they can even get a squirrel dog that way. I mean,
Well,
how on earth do you have? Because in the coon dogs, they're either accurate or they're not.
yeah.
They're not accurate
Yeah.
when the coons are moving, and inaccurate when they're not moving. They're not, or vice versa. They're either good about having coons in their trees or they're bad about having coons in their trees.
Yeah.
With the squirrel dog, the really, really, really good ones are good about making trees with squirrels while the squirrels are moving, but also good about making trees when they're not moving and getting circled.
Mm-hmm.
That's mind-boggling to me.
It really is, and that in all reality, it takes a lot of luck and a really good
Hmm.
dog. Most of the time, I've always said this, and I've had this debate with Austin Gentry and several other people. I said I wish squirrel hunting was like coon hunting, because very few times do I feel like I turn my dog loose and he's not the better dog.
Yeah,
Now, is he making 400 circle? Everybody else makes 400 circle, and I make 100 circle because the squirrels aren't moving. You know what? The dog won that had the most points on the card, but was it treeing squirrels?
yeah,
Some people say they got a bigger nose. Okay. Well, when I can turn my dog loose and he goes through there and you turn loose right behind me and tree 5 squirrels behind him, got a bigger nose.
yeah,
If you make 5 circle trees behind him and we ain't seen a squirrel, is it my dog's got a better brain and he knows that the squirrel isn't still here? Or did that dog smell something my dog didn't like? It blows my mind at the bigger nose comment when if you don't see no squirrel,
yeah. It's not a bigger nose; it's a knack. There's nothing else I can think of it than other than a knack. I think the Larry
yeah.
Bird dog too. The first time I hunted with him, he looked awesome. 4 trees, 4 squirrels, moving around great. Then the second time I hunted with him, I think he made 3 trees, 4 trees, something like that. The cowboy dog and Nicky
Mm-hmm.
Hale's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him tree 5, 6 squirrels in a row, and then on the days where nobody's treeing squirrels, you got one dog running won't get treed. You got one dog making a couple trees, and then cowboys just boom, 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 flying through the country treeing circle trees.
Yeah.
And so how they can, I don't know. Best I can figure is when the squirrels are moving, the dogs that want to get treed that bad are
Mm-hmm.
going to find a squirrel because the squirrels are just moving.
Yeah.
But when they're not moving, they want to get treed bad enough, but they still move around good that they've got some distance between their circle trees and stuff. That's the only thing I can think of. But man, we'll never understand that. I don't think. I don't
I
think that
don't
is
either.
understandable
I don't either. I have been
because they're accurate dogs. An inaccurate dog is going to make those circle trees
I
when
never
the
see a
squirrels
squirrel.
are moving.
Yeah.
They're going to get minus, or they're not going to get
Mm-hmm.
minus. They're going to get circled while other dogs are getting plussed if they're actually not an accurate dog.
Yes.
But they will be inaccurate when the squirrels aren't moving, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't get it.
I've seen.
If they were all dens, it would make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. Some of them are just trees.
I've seen with my own eyes high end dogs in competition. If my dog starts opening to say he's 400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen dogs look up in his direction, and you can see they hear it, and they take off sprinting and run. And in about 50 yards, they're hitting the biggest tree they can find, and they're grabbing hold, and they're
Yeah.
convincing you that there's a squirrel here.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I mean, I guess you could minus them, but I've seen squirrels in a tree about the size of a cantaloupe.
Oh yeah.
After we've turned loose, then you find the squirrel.
Yeah.
It,
No,
so,
that's another thing I hate about squirrel. The damn squirrel is too hard to find.
yeah, yeah,
Everyone's like, "You gonna get you a squirrel dog? You gonna get you a squirrel dog?" I'm like, "No, I don't know if my dog's any good or not because I can't see the damn things."
but to circle back around, like I was talking about luck, like a coon, if it, unless it's a big den tree, if a
Hmm.
coon goes up said tree, you're you're probably gonna see the coon.
You today in this day and age, if there's a coon there and there's not a hole, you're gonna see the coon.
But a squirrel, man, I'd like to know how many trees I have searched for 5 minutes. Shook every vine in the tree. I mean, look like a toothpick up there shaking. And I'll go to walk off, and you turn your dog loose, and then all of a sudden you hear something, you look back, and there's a squirrel timbering out of that tree.
Yep. No, it's
Like,
that would be the most frustrating part of the whole sport for me,
mm-hmm.
for
Is your
sure.
dog, if is a squirrel, is this squirrel that your dog tree's gonna stay and my dog's tree leave? I mean,
Yep.
it just depends. There's a lot of luck in it, but the harder going, more consistent tree dog normally wins. So if
Yep.
if they'll go somewhere and get treed and stay there, generally they'll win.
Yep.
And and then you got dogs that you walk. Okay. If you walk them and they make a tree at 60 yards, those holes are hard to get by too, because as soon as you call your dog tree, if you're looking at it and you see a squirrel run up the tree, that squirrel's flustered.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's easier.
Them dogs that walk with you, which I would never have one anyway.
You know,
Not my style. No, nothing against guys that want to walk their dogs around the woods, but man, it's just like the lion guys when I go out there to lion hunt and I see them riding around on horses with their dogs following them around looking for a lion track. I'm like, ain't that the dog's job? Why do I
yeah,
got all these dogs if I'm the one going to look for the lion track? Why am I
yeah,
feeding this pack of 10 dogs? Send them that way. See if there's a
yeah,
lion down there. If there ain't, tow them back.
yeah,
And so, yeah, but them guys will walk them dogs. And I don't see it very often in the USDC hunts that I've been in.
yeah.
You don't see it. But I've pleasure hunted with guys and stuff that'll just turn their dogs loose and they take off walking and their dog's over here and it's over
Mm-hmm.
there and it's within 50 yards of them the whole time. Well, when they're I've seen coon dogs like this too. When they're following you around in the woods and the squirrels are moving or you're in
Oh
thick
yeah,
coons, they'll beat your brakes off.
yeah,
Because them dogs that are walking every step with you, they're gonna have a squirrel every time they tree, or they're gonna have a
yeah.
coon every time they tree. They ain't got enough heart to go out there and tree for fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're 50 yards from them,
Yeah,
that squirrel's gonna still be there.
yeah,
The dog and that's the frustrating part. You got a dog that hustles 4, 5, 600 yards, and a lot of people's gonna say, well,
hmm,
it shouldn't have had to go that far. Yeah, but if it made a big loop left-handed and it ends
yeah,
up at 500 yards over here, and then you walk straight towards it, well, that dog, and you could say it should have cut the woods up better. I understand all the arguments, but this dog over here that's kind of just trotting around with you, when it sees a squirrel, well, that dog hustled 500 yards. He's been treed over for 10 minutes.
yeah,
The odds of that squirrel being there is very unlikely,
yeah,
you know? And then they're going to come in, yeah, we beat so and so. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. You also looked at your dog for an hour and
yeah.
15
I
minutes.
wouldn't. I've been beat by dogs with no hunt, and yeah, it sucks, And
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking my dog should have treed more coons, and they don't beat. But what people don't understand is they don't beat you very often
Yeah.
on them crappy days, crappy nights. If you're not in a coon zoo, those dogs aren't going to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't matter. But every now and then they'll sneak one by you, and it is the most frustrating thing on the planet. There's nothing worse than walking somebody's dog over the coon that beats you or the squirrel that beats you.
Yeah. That's the frustrating part is when you spend a lot of time working your dog and then a dog. But here's the thing. That person feeds that dog. If they happy with that dog,
You bet.
so be
You
it.
bet.
And it's
No.
also wild at the amount of pleasure hunters that'll come out
Yep.
and talk crap about a dog And I'm like, well, I don't ever see a competition hunter generally talking crap about a pleasure hunter.
No, I mean, you'll see it on you. Of course, you see it on the interwebs all the time. That oh, it's just a money game. It's just this, and them guys' dogs are junk. All they do is fly through there and tree everything in a mile, and you tree coons behind them. And I seen a blankety blank champion go one time back in 1986, and I treed more coons than he did, so I know they're no good.
Hmm.
But basically, what we're dealing with there is just morons.
Well, you know,
You know that there's morons. There's morons in every sport, and those are morons. And God bless them. I'm sure
hmm.
they're good people, and their wives love them and stuff. But that don't mean they're not idiots.
Well, I agree with that. And
Yeah,
I don't understand why they're not like, you know what, if that's what they enjoy doing
exactly.
and that's what they enjoy feeding, why not just be quiet and let them do their thing?
If you want to take old Dan and little Ann and walk them around 40 acres and hiss them
Yeah.
up on one coon a night and take a big picture and say we had a great hunt, awesome. I wish that made me happy because that sounds a lot more fun than the misery I got to
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
But yeah, more power to them. I hope you have a blast. Good for you. And just because I don't like your dog doesn't mean that you don't like your dog. And as long as you like your dog, it don't matter what I think.
Hmm. For sure.
But they don't have that. A lot of them don't have that same mindset. They think everybody, and that's not just competition hunters and pleasure hunters. That's people. Everybody thinks that one person ought to like the same person I like, or same things I like.
Yeah, I agree. But while we're talking about it, what about the Joy Super Hunt? Do you think so? There's ought to be what, three different dogs in it? I know that one's a cur.
Is there
Nick
three or four?
there's three. Nikki
Yes.
Hale is the USDC World Hunt winner.
Yep. And then NSDC or NSD and then OMCBA, right?
Yep.
Now,
So
John knows way more about that than I do.
yeah.
But where we're going down in the, have you hunted the LBL?
Oh yes, sir. A good bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's good hunting if the weather holds. And Cowboy's the only one of the three that I've personally hunted with.
Hmm.
And I like Cowboy's style. I like the way he does things and stuff. And he'll make enough trees if the coons aren't, or if the squirrels aren't moving. But the way John talks, the OMCBA dog is poison, and so is the NSD. That any
Yeah.
one of those three could just beat the brakes off one of them, and then we could have a real squirrel shootout. Have you hunted with any of them?
Uh, I have not. So Nikki hunts the USDC,
Yep.
and oh, I guess I was. I mean, I was at the World Hunt this year, but I have not. I want to say is it Jip's name Allie?
I think so.
But
I think so.
I want to say for some reason I want to think she's a Walker dog, but I might be wrong.
They're both two of them are half hound. I know that.
Okay, two tree and curs
Yeah, so I
and a
think two
cur.
tree and curs. I'm gonna
Yeah,
find out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure two of them are tree and curs, and one of them, of course, the OMCBA
yeah.
dog.
I ought to be able to. The OMCBA dog might be tree and cur too.
I just seen the post the
I'm
other day.
playing. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
playing.
it might be.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Is it though?
Well, so I saw they're finally coming out. They are knocking around the idea of trying to figure out a way to do DNA in the OMCBA.
Oh,
And
good.
nothing's been voted on or nothing like
Well,
that.
I've seen some of them tree and curs, and you couldn't eyeball wise. Some of them you can't tell.
Oh my goodness.
Some
Yeah.
some of them look like just purebred cur dogs.
I've got a my tree and cur, half walker, half cur dog.
Hmm.
I don't know if you'll be able to see that good.
That does not look like any walker.
Mama's 100% walker.
No kidding. Huh.
But yeah, like there's so many different, ways you could do it. You could hang papers and this and that. Anyway,
Hmm.
I really don't want to get off on bashing it, but my deal is if people want to hunt cur only organizations, I don't care. I'll hunt against walkers. I practice hunting against a walker weekly.
Yep.
It don't matter to me. But the people that only want to hunt against walkers, I feel like it's their right if they're going to a cur only event to only hunt against curs,
Yep.
you know. But
I got the list here now. It's 2020 Jet, Jeremy Miller,
mhm,
and Clinch River Alley, Jeff Smith is the NSD.
yes. So there was some really nice dogs at the NSD hunt. Obviously, there's always really nice dogs at the USDC hunt, and the OMCBA has a really good turnout for their world hunt yearly.
Yeah. Well, way they talk about Jet is that do not sleep on the OMCBA dog, that it's a real quality animal. And they
Yeah.
gotta be. Man, you ain't gonna win a world hunt of that magnitude
Hmm.
without being a real quality dog. And I'm sure the dogs in the finals were all really good, and probably the ones in the semifinals and
Yep.
quarterfinals were all really good. Dogs we'd love to turn loose.
Oh yeah.
And the same way with the NSD. But I'm pretty sure, and someone's gonna correct us if we're wrong, I have no doubt, but I'm pretty sure Allie's a tree and cur too.
Okay. Um, I ought to be able to let you know that weekend beforehand if the squirrels is moving up there. So
You gonna be up there the weekend before?
yeah, the
You
LMC
run
World Hunt.
you run into a real hot spot. Make sure and drop me a
Okay.
pin.
All right. I've got several, but the Perkins is going to be there, ain't they?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Michael and them, they know a bunch of really good spots up there too. But yeah, the LMC World Hunt is the weekend before. I wish y'all was doing it on that Monday. It's hard for me to take vacation for 3 days, but yeah,
Well, they'll just
which
take it for 5 days, and you can come stay at the lodge with us and hang out and help us do interviews.
Cane Stream hiring.
There you go. Well, it don't pay very good, but we'll pay
Yeah,
for your room and board.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm
Well,
lucky I get my room and board.
I might not have a house to come back to if I stay that long.
Yeah, so you may have to stay at the lodge
Yeah,
interminably.
yeah, yeah. But
But no,
the
it's going to be a good time. I love the LBL. I know guys coon hunt and gripe about it, and it is miserable with four crazy coon dogs in there sometimes.
hmm
But there's a lot of squirrels, there's a lot of game, there's a lot of coons, and when you're looking at that many acres of just blow and go, it's safe.
yeah,
That's the main thing for me is it's safe, and we can
yeah.
just turn them loose. I love it.
Well, if my favorite spot I've been to is the Mississippi Delta,
Yeah,
flat, big hardwoods,
yeah,
but it's not centrally located for everybody.
right.
It's 3 hours south of me. LBL is 4 hours north of me, so
Yeah.
that's 7 hours difference. But if it was like the Mississippi Delta up there, oh, everybody'd be tickled about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
You know,
sure. If it was flat, that's the only thing is the hills.
yeah.
And there's places, and I'm sure there's a lot of squirrels in those miserable places. But I pleasure hunted in there 3 nights. I had a 4 dog cast in there on Friday night, and on Friday night we turned loose four crazy dogs. One of which did definitely climb a hill. Cable's dog struck a deer out of the truck, and I mean this sucker was Gandhi. Now I've never
Yeah,
heard a dog run a deer that good in a long time. I was
really?
impressed. And 10 minutes in, Cable's like, I'm out. I'm 2.5 miles. I've done crossed the highway. I'm out. So
Wow.
he leaves. And then we went and scored one, two, three, four more trees and never climbed a hill.
Wow.
We stayed
Do
in that
y'all
cornfield
do
bottom
y'all
all
normally
night
stay on
long.
the north end or the south end?
I always hunt the north end.
Hmm.
You know where the elk pen is?
Hmm.
Big cornfield bottoms right there north of the elk pen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's people squirrel hunt that like crazy too. I know Cable said he squirrel hunted in there.
Hmm.
But we stayed in them cornfield bottoms all night long and tree
That's
count.
right there in the middle behind the big lake, ain't it?
Yeah, somewhere.
The
It'd
electric
be
lake. Yeah.
just north of the east-west road that goes across there in
Yep.
the middle. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it ain't. I mean, there's all kinds of places like that in the LBL though, but they are hard. Some of them are hard to get to. Some of them are hard to find. But there's a lot of easy places that if you can keep a dog in check, you don't even have to go up a hill.
That's kind of a double-edged sword because if it was all flat, the amount of hunters that would be in there,
Yeah. It would be
you
just
know,
like White River.
yeah. Yeah.
You go to White
Hmm.
River in December, you're going to hear dogs everywhere.
Hmm.
And you're going to have people begging for. I get all kinds of grief. Why don't you come down here? You can drive to every tree. I'm like, bro, have you hunted with me? I turn loose across the road from my house and drive to every single tree. I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it ain't flat. I said, but I still drive. I put my headlights on just about every single tree I make. I don't need to drive all the way to Arkansas to do
Yeah.
that.
I like it. So what's y'all's plan as far as Monday? Are y'all getting there Monday or Tuesday?
We're getting there Tuesday. Do all the interviews, all the fun stuff. Got a big lodge. It's got a hot tub. I get old John in the hot tub with Wade, and we'll get some pictures there. And maybe hold that over their head and get some. And then
Yeah.
we rented a huge lodge, big fancy vacation home is what we rented. And
Okay.
then we'll get all the prelim stuff, and then Wednesday morning off we go. It probably ain't gonna be live. It's gonna be edited. It'll probably come out
Mm-hmm.
on that Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Got to keep everybody quiet and all that stuff. Of course, there's no service in the LBL in most places.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's gonna be fun, man. It's a big cash prize. It's no entry fee. It's the three best dogs. Not necessarily, and everybody gets on to me about the super hunt stuff. I say the three best dogs of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're the three best dogs in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't even have just one really good week in all their life. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they are the three world champions that we decided to take, and they're probably the three biggest. And I promise you, this thing's going to grow because we know how many squirrel dog organizations there are.
Yeah.
There's more. And a lot of these guys are stepping up their game. I think a WTDA, I think is what it is one of
Mm-hmm.
them that's getting better and better every year. And so we're going to take a fourth, maybe a fifth, maybe a sixth someday.
Yeah.
But for the initial one, I think these three were the best choice. I
Yeah.
think the three biggest organizations, probably the three best dogs winning. That's who you take.
I agree. I mean, if you had another cur organization or tree that you could only hunt curs or even tree and curs like the NKC or the
Yeah,
UKC, then the people hunting strictly hounds would be upset.
yeah.
And then if you had three
Well,
hound only organizations, there ain't never going to be anybody
now
that's
you're never
completely
going to
happy.
make everybody happy, but you don't want to water down the hunt either.
Mm-hmm.
That's like making when they had the FBS, FCS, whatever, when they took four teams for the playoff, and then it had to be eight, then it had to be 16, and now it's got to be 40, and then pretty soon nobody cares until it's the semifinals anyway.
Yeah.
Let's leave some. You're going to leave some people out. Not everybody's
Mm-hmm.
going to get there, and that's the whole point of a super hunt.
I
Yes,
agree.
we took we had 2 years of the super hunt before we took the AKC world champion. And that's because in the coon dogs, because the AKC just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you
Yeah.
look at the final four of the AKC world championship this year,
Yeah.
I mean, gee whiz. You had Eric Pyatt and Scott Engel, and just like
Yeah.
last year, you had Pyatt was in at that time too, and Dual Murphy. And so yeah, it's these organizations get to where their world championship is a super, super hard hunt to win,
Mm-hmm.
then or one of the top four most difficult hunts to win, then they get an invite.
I get it. I I really like what the UKC is doing with that tournament champions getting
Yeah.
qualified, and
Yep.
I think that would be pretty cool. But the problem is there's so many organizations now, and
The main
you know,
thing is one dog from every organization. You think the squirrel dog thing's hard to figure. You ought to try the beagles.
oh man, yeah, because
What a
everybody got 16 dogs.
what a mess. The AKC has like 87 different divisions
Mm-hmm.
and no world hunt. And
Mm-hmm.
they're the most popular as far as dog numbers. And
Yeah.
so where do you take from there? And then one guy says, I don't want to go. And then they take the little pack or the big pack,
Yeah.
or the medium pack or the small pack or the gargantuan pack, or I don't even know what any of this stuff is. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, don't you have like a world hunt with the best dog ever? They're like, no, we have 37 different national championships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
then you got to figure out a rule set to find the best dog. And
Yeah.
then then they're completely different styles of dogs, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just,
And they're
it is.
judged differently.
I'm so, yeah, yeah. And that's why I told BJ asking me questions. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to know. You just tell me what time to be there with the camera, and you guys are gonna have to take care
Yeah.
of the rest because I don't know nothing about this.
I tell you what you need to do. You need to come to. Have you ever heard of the field trials for the foxes?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a pen over here, not too far from the house. I got a lot of buddies that do it.
The their biggest one ever for a fox, or it's open. It's not
Yeah.
in a pen. It's an open event. Is like an hour from my house, hour and a half from
Don't
my
they turn
house.
loose like 300 dogs at a
Like
time?
700
That is
running walkers.
wild.
And it is on a national reserve and a couple of big hunting clubs. And what they do is so if it's in a circle, all the handlers will get on the outsides and pretty much chase your dogs on by a collar. And if they come out, then you got to take them and put them back in the middle, but they keep bundling them back in. Then they got people on horses and buggies and everything else
That's
judging the
insane.
dogs.
That's
But
insane. There's no way you could find the best dog.
Grenada. Oh, yeah. But Grenada, Mississippi is their world. I don't know what they call it. Pachurian of what
Maturity.
for charity or whatever is what
Yeah,
they call it. But
yeah.
for
I've
fox
heard of it.
dogs,
I
yeah.
need to go down there and witness that at some point.
They have a charity hunt for St. Jude. They donate, and I'm pretty sure this number is right, but it's normally around $100,000.
Phew.
But I've heard that, that's something else that people don't think about these hunts. So the amount of people, there's people from Canada and everywhere else
Hmm.
coming down here to Grenada, Mississippi.
Yep.
Well, they're talking about how much the economy was stimulated because of all these people there for this hunt.
Yeah.
You know, that
We get
they
the
was
same
talking
thing.
about moving it, and they said that the people that owns the restaurants and the
Yeah.
hotels and the campgrounds, they was like, no, you ain't moving this. It was like
Yeah.
a couple $1 million that week was spent.
I
Increase.
think I think the PKC hunts in Salem, Illinois brought in like a crazy number, like 30 million or some stupid number
Wow.
into the overall economy. But of course, there's all kinds of hunts. There's
Yeah.
Super Stakes, Nationals used to be there, Youth World, World Championship, all kinds of different hunts over there, two Super Stakes, and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
it was a crazy number that they brought into the economy. And then we moved Nationals down to Aurora this year, and they were thrilled to have us.
Yeah.
They were like, "Thank God you're back," because there ain't much going on at Aurora, Kentucky in October. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
so yeah, no, that's something people don't realize. And I know deer hunting is big in the Midwest, and I know it brings a lot of money into the economy too.
hmm.
But we do too,
Yeah.
and there's a
Yeah.
way to coexist there for sure.
For sure. Um, I, until we bridge the gap, and I don't know if we ever will, hound sports and hunting, is deer hunting. Let me rephrase
Yeah.
that. It's not going to exist. But do you have a date that you plan on getting the info out as far as the winners and all the videos and all that out after the hunt?
After the super
The
hunt,
Yes.
it'll be right when what it'll do is it's usually 2 days after the hunt because it takes with multiple cameras, putting in the scoreboards, putting in the ads, putting in all that stuff. There's a lot of editing in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to do all that. That's going to take usually the next day. And then it's the day after that we do it. So usually it's a 2 day deal, but we also want to have it on a night where everybody's home, where everybody can watch it
Yep.
and all that stuff. It'll be on Cane Stream and everybody will get to see the whole thing. Yes, would we love to do it live? No, I
Yeah.
wouldn't because there's so much risk there,
Mm-hmm.
of it something happening to where people can't see it. There's all kinds of things. There's all kinds of downtime. There's all, we're just with squirrel hunting it's different because you're usually walking the trees and scoring trees.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fast paced game,
Mm-hmm.
but not everybody needs to see everything. You
Yeah.
know, you take it. We don't edit out anything important. We don't edit out anything to make the dogs look better, the handlers look better, anything like that. But an edited, clean video of this hunt is what we're going for. So it's going to be a couple days after the hunt is actually done before it's announced, and it won't get announced until after it's out. We're not
Yeah.
going to say, "Hey, here's your winner. Now you can come watch the hunt," because
Yeah.
of course, we want people to watch.
Oh, for sure. Now you got a bunch of cameramen lined up.
Oh yeah, yeah. There'll be 3 cameras in the woods. There's usually one camera for every dog. We do the
Mm-hmm.
same thing at the joy hunt. This year was a little different at the joy hunt because of the weather of for the coon hunt. Uh, it was raining, nasty. We kept the entire cast together. We did not have split cameras, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's weather dependent. But it's going to be a really good production. It's going to be something that a year from now, 2 years from now, people are going to want to go back and watch. Hey, let's go
Yeah.
see this dog, what it looked like at the super hunt.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And people don't go back and watch a live hunt, you know,
Yeah.
2 years later. They just don't.
Well, that's one thing that I do like about social media is you look at all these lines and these pedigrees, and sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I wonder what that dog hunted like. Or
Yeah.
I wonder what that dog looked like.
Yeah.
I wonder, all this information.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you can literally go to YouTube
Hmm.
and Facebook and all this stuff, and you can type in this dog's name.
Yep.
and it pulls up all these ways that you can see pictures of them and
Oh yeah.
videos of them.
See what they look like treed.
Yeah.
Video of them treed.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
no,
agree.
it's we've had such big name dogs. You figure how many times have I videoed John Strickland and Ann before they won a UKC World Championship?
Yeah.
He was in two Elite Handler Series hunts, or no, she was in one Elite Handler Series hunt. I did the dog life video with him where she was loose and getting treed, and then pro sport hunts, all kinds of videos of Ann.
Yeah.
Now, 10 years from now, when we're talking about one of the greatest females to ever compete, they can go back and they say, hey, let's watch Ann. This is one of the best dogs ever, kids. Let's sit
Yeah.
down. We can take a look. I did that video with Halftime Ruby, who's dead now. And this was back before I had good cameras and knew what I was doing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she had just made the highest money winning dog of all time. And now Wes Hamilton, who owned Ruby, can go back with his kids who were little and in the shot, in
Yep.
the video and watch that. And to me, that's way more important than a lot of the stuff that we do because nobody, there's no videos of Naylor treed.
Yeah.
All I can hear is stories about how when that dog come treed, the world knew it and all this stuff. We didn't get any of that on video.
Yeah.
Now these dogs that are special like that, we actually get to see them. I think it's great.
My son the other day, speaking of videos, not just for that, but my son went and spent a night with some close family friends. And I went to pick him up, and his wife come out and was like, "Hey, Waylon's been in there still watching YouTube." And I'm like, "What's he watching?" She's like, "He's watching y'all's hunting videos." And I'm like, "What hunting videos?" And she said, "Your channel." And I'm like, "Huh?" She said he's been watching them all morning. Well, he's in most of them, but I guess he just don't remember it because he was so
Yep.
small.
Yep.
And he come outside and I said, "Son, you been sitting at your house watching hunting videos?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in them." I'm like, "I'm aware." Like I videoed them. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, "Well, you don't ask to watch them at our house." And he's like, "Well, I didn't know you had a channel." And I'm like, "What do you think I'm doing with all these cameras?"
Yeah, no kidding.
But he,
That's cool that he's actually watching. My kids don't watch none of it.
well, shortly after that, he lost interest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
way. That's the way all mine are too. I'll sit down and watch it, which I don't watch them. I was there. I know how it happened. I
Mm-hmm.
watched it 1,000 times during editing. When they hit the channel, I'm done. I don't need to
Yeah.
watch them anymore. But back in the day when I first come out with them, man, it was when I first started doing this. It was get the family together and get a bowl of popcorn and watch this something. The kids loved it when
Yeah.
they were little and stuff. Now none of us care.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure and get it out there for everybody else. But we're going to turn on a football game or something when we sit down.
We need to do us a poll because I think the tides have changed. We need to do us a poll of man, I have little little pre to the poll. I have spent hours upon hours editing video and
Hmm.
adjusting color and adjusting music and background and B-roll and information. I mean, absolute hours. And then you'll have 3 likes and 10 dislikes.
Yep.
And I'm like, are you like I figured out if I don't like something somebody puts out, I've got enough respect for them that I know how many hours they put in it. I'll move on. And if I
It's
do
got to
like
be
it, I'll
something
give a
really
thumbs
terrible.
up.
But I've never hit the dislike button that I know of.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be something really stupid. I would hit the
But
dislike button.
the hours that this person put into this, even if I don't like it, I'll move on.
Hmm.
If I like it, I've learned to hit the thumbs up button. And you don't, it's like, it's one of them weird deals. You don't want to beg people, please hit the thumbs up button.
Yep.
But it helps promote your channel. It
People
helps,
don't understand that. Yeah, they don't get it. Even when they do like it, I'll get all kinds of messages. Man, I love your stuff. I love your stuff. And not one of them guys have hit a like
yeah,
button, and that's fine.
uh,
Whatever.
100, I love yours, and you'll have 3 likes.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you leave the damn comment in the comment section
Yeah.
and hit the like button? And
And that's the thing about Facebook. If we videoed all our videos on Facebook, which is not the greatest platform for that,
mm-hmm,
you get way more engagement. And I think
mm-hmm,
it's just because we're so conditioned to using Facebook instead of YouTube. Yeah, we go to YouTube on our TV and we sit down and watch a video or something, but we don't think of it as an actual social media platform.
yeah,
A lot of guys don't. Like
yeah,
Dual Murphy, for instance. I don't know how many YouTube videos I've done with him in it. And we was at the Mark Hall the other day. He's like, "How do I get on this thing?" He's
I
like, because
had
he
a
had some guy, he got minus for babbling, and some guy was on there talking about how good deal, get them babblers or whatever. And
yeah.
Duel's like, how do I respond to this idiot? You know? So I had to walk him through logging into his YouTube and getting a
Yeah.
YouTube deal, And I'm like, he's like, all right, I'm on there now. Next thing I know, he's commenting on my live stream and stuff. So yeah, it's not viewed as a social media platform as much as it is just a television channel.
Yeah.
And we're so used to watching how many times have we heard some idiot broadcaster on like a boxing deal or UFC deal or a sporting event of any kind.
Yeah.
And we want to just, man, I'd like to talk to that guy, tell him he's an idiot,
Hmm. Yeah.
or tell him he's right or tell him good job or, argue with the guy that says he's wrong when he's right, whatever. But we don't look at YouTube that way.
And I'll sit there and listen to my kids like when they were younger, and they'd be like some 20 something year old weirdo on there. Hey kids,
Oh yeah.
if you love your family, hit the thumbs up. If you want them to go to heaven, hit subscribe. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, these people are damn geniuses,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
They're,
all of them
they're,
want I want my parents to go to
yeah.
heaven. Let's subscribe. Yeah,
I'm,
I love my
I'm going to
family.
start doing
Let's
that.
hit thumbs up.
You want a good coon dog? Hit that like button.
Yeah, hey, that's it. That's
That's what
it.
I'm gonna do.
Hey,
If you want to learn the secrets of winning hundreds of thousands of dollars in coon hunting and never have to work, hit that like button.
and if you want to win a world hunt and everybody to know your name, hit the damn subscribe.
There you go. Hit the subscribe button and then hit the join button if you really
Yeah,
want to beat all those people.
yeah. And if you want to beat the first two, come join us. Be
I
a part
can't
of the
complain
family.
about because our membership is high, our viewership's really good, our engagements are good, and I really wanted to grow it organically, to where
Hmm.
I'm not out there farming likes. I'm not doing giveaways for people to subscribe and join. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I just want people to enjoy the content and then go
Yeah.
that way. So far, so good. Does it climb as high as me hiring a bot farm? No.
No.
But it's organic. I like to be able to see people's names come across there that I know, that I run into at Autumn Oaks or I run into at the local club or even at the restaurant here in town. One of the wildest things happened to me at the Mark Hall. I'm at the gas station 20 miles away from the club, and a guy walks up
Yeah.
to me, "Are you Josh Michaelis?" I'm like, "Whoa, this is wow." I watch your stuff all the time. Super nice guy. I
Yeah.
watch your stuff all the time. I'm like, "Hey, that's cool."
Yeah.
But I like knowing who's there. I don't want to say, "Hey, man, look at me. I've got 1 million followers." But 990,000 of them I bought and paid for.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. And that's another thing that's so weird is there's a lot of people that hear your voice or my voice that might not watch this channel,
Yep.
but they hear it. I was sitting at my buddy owns a pawn shop, and I was sitting in there, I eat lunch in there, I hang out, talk about guns, this and that. And I'm talking to him, and I keep seeing this guy kind of staring at me. I'm like, this guy got a problem, Like he keeps looking at me, and every time I look at him, he'd turn away. But he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, your voice sounds familiar." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You got a dog named Gunner?" I said, "I do." He said, "Are you Cody Moreland?" And I said, "I do." Well, he'd never seen a video.
Yeah.
He didn't know who I was, but he's like, "Man, as soon as I heard your voice, I'm like, I know that person."
Yep. That's the
You know,
thing. It's another trick here, or another tricky thing is we've been out there so long and there's so much audio, there's so much video that
hmm.
these people do feel like they know us. And they really do. I mean,
Yeah,
these guys, I run into guys at hunts that I've never talked to in my life and I've never laid eyes on in my life that come up to me and talk like we've known each other all forever.
yeah,
And I get it, man. I appreciate it. It's cool, but sometimes it's a little weird.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I don't know how to take it because I'm not used to being in that situation.
Well, it is extremely funny because
Yeah.
I enjoy the aspect of people, but it is a little awkward because that person knows everything about you.
Yeah,
But like I'm like, man, I don't even know nothing about this guy. I don't,
exactly.
and I'm a little leery about putting my kids. I try not to talk about family stuff because you never know some of
Yep.
these sickos out here.
Yep.
You know.
That's right. And I've got my kids in videos just like you do, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty picky about how they engage in social media, just like I'm sure you're going to be with yours
Oh
and all
yeah,
that stuff. My kids don't have any social media until they're 16, and then that's a good thing about all this
Yeah.
technology. I know exactly what Jason's doing on his phone. He's
Yeah.
14 years old now.
Yeah.
He's screwed. He's never going to get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Dad can see everything he's
Oh,
doing.
yeah. Mess around, make a bad comment.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'll see what you're looking at, old son.
Yeah. You know, but the other side is there's other ways that you can get
Oh yeah,
away
he's
with.
gonna find out. He's pretty sharp kid. He's gonna find
Yeah.
ways around that, and I kind of want him to a little bit. They got to be able to do all that stuff, and they got to be able to do the wrong thing every now and then to learn the right thing.
Yeah. I get it.
But hey, we've been at it a while, Cody. Man, I enjoy you being on here. We're gonna do this more often. I say that every time, and sometimes we do. I know we're both busy, but let everybody know where they can find you, your socials, your podcast, YouTube channel, all that stuff.
Well, I'm on obviously Cody Moreland. I'm on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel, Outdoors in Moreland. We do a lot of deer dogs, squirrel dogs, any kind of shooting. I more or less do that. And then I have two podcasts, like I didn't have enough to do. The Hunting Dog Public, where it's more of an interview style. We hadn't done it lately because of ball. And I talked to Shane Mason the other day, and he wants to do a season 2 of Plus Up Podcast.
Good.
And now it's more of a talk shit kind of,
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, so the downside of interviews is, man, there ain't but so many people to interview.
Exactly.
You know, when you kind of like me and you're doing, that's kind of what me and Shane done, back and forth commentary, talking about who wins hunts. But anyways, that's Plus Up Podcast, so Outdoors in Moreland is YouTube, Plus Up Podcast, and the Hunting Dog Public. And man, I just out here trying to hunt, trying to win another world hunt, you know, trying
Well,
to
good
enjoy
luck.
life.
Good luck. I appreciate you being on. As always, you ever need a guest, you holler at me. I'm gonna do the same with you again very soon. I've no doubt. I know we're adding the Thursday podcast for just the Beagles, and then we're gonna try to keep Wednesday like me and you are doing,
Yeah.
John and Joey Poston. They're gonna throw in a podcast every now and then, once a month or so for the USDC, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna try to keep this Squirrel Dogs. A lot of squirrel dog content, some retriever stuff when we can get it and all that stuff. So I'll be hollering at you again for sure,
Yes,
Cody.
sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you letting me come on.
All right. That is Cody Moreland. This is the Fueled by Joy Working Dog podcast, and we will see you next week.